Hello everybody, my name is William and this is Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Today we're doing another FSEconomy flight in our Cessna 208 Grand Caravan. We'll be departing from Double Eagle Airfield in Albuquerque, New Mexico, flying on to Los Alamos. Planning to shoot an RNAV approach into Los Alamos, a little bit of stormy weather going on in our area. So it should be a good one. I hope you all do enjoy. If you do, make sure to give the video a like. It does help me out a ton and I appreciate it. As well as consider subscribing if you want to see more content. As always, let's go ahead and jump into it. Welcome on board the Cessna 208, everybody. We're on the ramp here at Double Eagle. Gonna make this short. We've got a long taxi ahead of us out of here, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and get the aircraft started up, and then we'll get underway with our taxi, start our flight in FSEconomy, all that good stuff for our trip today to Los Alamos. Should be pretty short. We're just straight line. It's just under, it's around about 50 nautical miles, so a really short flight for us today. But either way, gonna get it started up, and we'll be ready to taxi here in just a moment. Alright everybody, we are started up, ready to taxi. For the most part, we got a long taxi ahead of us. We're going to be using runway 35, which is, you can see where we are on the ramp here. We're going to have to taxi out all the way down and then all the way down there for runway 35. So I'm probably going to cut a little bit of that out, but let's go ahead and get our taxi started. We'll talk about our plan for the flight while we're underway. So we're going to taxi on straight ahead here, and we'll go ahead and cut to the left. We're going to take this all the way down to the end and make a right hand turn all the way down to tree 5. Make sure we don't get going too fast, that way we can make these little adjustments. Anyways, we're going to be departing out of here, going off to Los Alamos. Like I said, we're going to plan on shooting an RNAV approach into Los Alamos. There's some storms in the area. 27's the runway that we're going to want to use anyways because of the winds. And also it's going to keep us clear of some restricted airspace right around Los Alamos as well. If you look at the chart, there's restricted airspace. I think it's 5101, I believe is what it is. And it's basically right on the edge of the airport, just in use continuously is what it says, from the surface up to about 12,000. And if we follow the RNAV in, it'll keep us nice and clear of that. Not that we're talking to ATC or anything, but either way. So yeah, that's our plan. We got a couple fixes for us today, going up to 11,000 feet en route. That should be clear of the terrain for us on our flight path, so that will work just fine. But yeah, anyways, we got a pretty hefty taxi here in front of us, so I'll just go ahead and cut this last bit out, and we'll be ready to start our flight here in FSEconomy and get airborne in a moment. Alright, we are about at the end of the runway here. We're just going to make this turn, hold short. We're going to get the aircraft ready for our departure and start our flight in FSEconomy. So we're just going to hold short of the bars here. I'm just going to stand on the brakes. First thing we're going to do is pull up the client and actions start flight. I'm just carrying about four passengers to Los Alamos, so let's go ahead and hide that. Confirm 425 pounds in the left and right tank. That should be plenty for us. Flaps down into the takeoff position. I'm going to go nav, strobe, and landing lights on. And we'll go ahead and turn the recog lights off as well. We got tree 50 in the heading bug. Heading mode is armed, so runway heading on departure, 1,000 foot per minute, set in the vertical speed. We are at 5,800 feet, so a little bit higher altitude for our departure today, and up to 11,000 as the initial. We're going to go ahead and zoom our map on out for us, so we've got a little bit better situational awareness around us, and we're right on the outskirts, basically, of Albuquerque here. So I'm going to look to rotate out today. Probably going to shoot for about 65 knots, just trying to get a little bit comfortable with that. And then 80 knots with positive rate, flaps in, and we'll continue to climb on up to 11,000. And we'll let the autopilot take over and fly our course and kind of get ready for the RNAV departure, since it is going to be a pretty short flight here. So we are on the runway, runway tree 5. Let's go ahead and put some power in, and we'll release the brakes. Okay, power's set, airspeed's alive. There's 50 knots. 60. And there's 65, rotate. Alright, we are up. Just dab the brakes. Hold right around this pitch. There's 100 feet above the ground. There's 80 knots. Alright, 80 positive rate. We're continuing to accelerate. Let's get the flaps in, and let's pitch for about 10 degrees. I think the wind is all over the place there. We departed. It was showing out of the north at about 20 knots, and it's not quite that anymore. Either way, we're up and out about 1,000 foot per minute. We're just continuing to climb straight ahead, runway heading. Gonna wait till we're at about 1,000 feet, and then I'm gonna make a right turn to kind of capture on course. So there we go. We're about 1,000 feet above the ground. Let's go ahead and turn to the right, get away from all that rain off in front of us. Let's make sure we keep the climb up. We're going to come to the right to about 100. Just continue climbing, and this should allow us to intercept our course, take us to our first point. So we'll go ahead and activate the flight level change mode, and we'll sync the heading to our current heading, and then we will kick on the autopilot and let it take over. It's going to, we're slowly going to bring this in a little bit, so we'll slowly capture this. And we'll switch over to a nav mode as this needle kind of comes in. See, it's just now at its first dot. As it's about halfway in between, we're going to go ahead and switch over to a nav mode. And it's going to start swinging us back around to the left, about 9,000 feet now for 11,000. You can see Albuquerque out here in front of us. Driven through Albuquerque many, many times. It is definitely a lot more exciting than West Texas, I can tell you that. All the times I've done it, though, I would have much rather had a Cessna 208 to get me on my journey. It would have been a lot faster and more fun as well. But anyways, we are going to be on our way now, just continuing to climb up. We're about through 10,000, so we're going to go ahead and hit the landing lights there. And we will have a little bit of time en route, see if we can kind of enjoy some of the sights outside before we come back in. Our next point is not really that big of a deal, but we've got, let's see, up around Santa Fe, SAF. That's our start for the RNAV Yankee approach into Los Alamos. So we've got this nice leg in between where we can kind of figure out exactly what we're doing and how we want to go about it. But we're just now leveling out at 11,000. We'll be able to pull the power back a little bit. We have, seems like we got a decent tailwind component, but at least it's nice and smooth here. We're below the clouds a little bit, so we'll pull the power on back, we'll let it settle, and we'll see kind of what we're looking at. It's looking like 16 minutes en route at the moment, so a real short flight. I'm going to go ahead and take a look around outside and kind of enjoy the scenery. Just check in for a moment, flying over the river there. Quite enjoyable. It looks beautiful out here. We can see the rain and storms off in front of us. Very spotty, but definitely a lot of precipitation over there and directly in front of us as well. We are now direct to VCUT, which is our initial approach fix for the RNAV GPS Yankee runway 27 approach into Los Alamos. We can see the airport elevation is 7,171 feet. We have an AWOS frequency to check the weather. I've got that set up in our standby frequency, so we can switch over once we get a little bit closer, make sure we pick it up. Final approach course is going to be a heading of 272. So I could set that up in the heading bug right here just fine. And we can also see minimums if we want to follow them and go down. We're looking like probably about 7,700 feet is what we're going to be going for all the way down. No altitude really restrictions. It's 11,000 at VCUT will be just fine. After that, we've got WAPVO 9,500 and I think it's Yunsu 8,900 for the altitude, and then on in to the field. So that's the plan anyways at the moment. We'll go ahead and enjoy the beautiful sights here, really pretty country, and yeah, we'll be ready to shoot our approach before we know it, really. We are starting to get a decent, well, a good amount closer to VCUT here, 14 nautical miles. So we're going to go ahead and come back in and zoom the map in a little bit. That way we've got a little bit more idea of what's going on around us. We're going to pass right by Santa Fe, which is just up over kind of in that area. Also a very pretty place to visit. But we'll be coming into Los Alamos, and you can see here this blue triangle is kind of what I was talking about. I believe that's the representation of the restricted area. It's not really a triangle, but you know what I mean. This blue line. So had we just gone straight in, we would have flown straight through the restricted area. We are below 12,000 as well, so that would have been a big no-no. Not sure why there's a restricted area there, but I think majority of us are familiar with Los Alamos and some of the things that have gone on at Los Alamos and what they're famous for, so I guess we could guess. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and switch on over to the weather and see what it looks like here. So 124.175, let's see what they have to say.
Kilo Lima Alpha Mike Automated Weather Observation 1900 Zulu. Wind 106 at 5. Visibility 10 in heavy rain. Sky condition, few clouds at 500 feet, few clouds at 4,200 feet, few clouds at 11,900 feet. Temperature, 9 C dew point, 10 C altimeter, 3018.
Okay, so the wind's not really in favor for 27, but heavy rain, 3018 for the altimeter, so we'll go ahead and click that down. Like I said, we're good at 11,000 over VCUT. WABVO is 9,500, I believe. Let's pull the chart back. Yep, 9,500. And then the following fix after that should be Yunsu, which is 8,900. So we'll go ahead and preemptively put 9,500 in the altitude selector. Once we cross VCUT, we'll descend straight down. WABVO is just at least above 9,500, and then 8,900 all the way down into the field. And like I said, the airport elevation is 71, with a 6,000 foot runway for us there as well. So we should be okay, but we can see that is kind of the area of the airfield, and we can see that heavy rain. So hopefully we've got a decent visibility through it to where we can land and not be too concerned with it. There's Santa Fe there off to our right. A really cool city. I've had a lot of fun. I used to go to Santa Fe quite a bit whenever I was younger on family vacations and stuff, but either way we can see a windmill down there as well, just churning away. And some heavy rain in front of us to boot. So let's go ahead and get our landing lights on, since we're about to start our approach here into Los Alamos. I think we'll be clear of the rain, hopefully. We just kind of lucked out on it, but we will see as we're about to start our turn in. And there's a better idea of it, so just kind of circling around through and lining us up with 27. Should be just over there somewhere. We'll go ahead and pull the power back just a little bit, keep it around 150 for the approach would work for me. I'm sure a lot of you have kind of seen one of these, but if you're new, in the 208 we can put our approach flaps down as long as we are Sim didn't like that, as long as we are a little bit slower than 150 knots, and we can go full landing flaps below 125 knots. So we're now direct to Wapvo. We'll go ahead and set a let's see, it's about 5 miles. So we're going to go ahead and get on with it and really pull that power back. Let's get down to 9,500. Alright, so we're capturing 9,500, 2.5 miles now from Wapvo. We're going to go ahead and keep the power pulled out because we're going to be descending a little bit more. I want to make sure we're okay with our airspeed here. Alright, there we go. We can go ahead and put 8,900 in the selector now. Second we cross, we can just blast on down to 8,900, just 600 foot descent, so don't need to be too crazy about it or anything, but just trying to stay ahead of the approach. There we go, so we can start down now. And just set it for 1,000 feet a minute. Alright, we're gonna keep everything pretty much the way it is at the moment. And we'll switch over to approach mode. We definitely could have at the initial approach fix, but we're just gonna continue flying it in like this. We'll go ahead and set our next altitude down to 7,700 in case we don't pick up glide slope or anything like that. We can just crash all the way down to 7,700 after crossing Yunsu here at 89. So 2.2 miles now. We're at 8,900. We've got 7,700 already set up. Our speed's okay, we're slow enough we could put approach flaps out now. So let's go ahead and do that since we may not pick up the glide slope here, and that'll help us kind of stay on top of our airspeed if we just need to get down to 7,700 as quickly as we can. There's the field right there in sight. No issues with the visibility. We can actually shoot the we could shoot a visual if we wanted to at this point. I was waiting to see if the glide slope picked up, but it didn't. So let's just crash all the way down to 7,700. Pull the power out. Maybe not crash all the way down, but let's get down to 7,700 very quickly. We'll just continue to let it fly us in like this, and then we'll take over since we have a visual on the field, and we will fly in from there. Now you can see if this rain was just a little bit on the other side of the field, we definitely could have had issues spotting it, but we're going to be just fine here. Worked out for us. We're going to go ahead and just disable the autopilot, and we can fly it in from this point. And there we are, we're through 7,700. We have the whole airfield in sight. And we're on our approach. The wind is kind of, looks like it's whipping around a little bit, but it's about 3 knots, so not too worried about it. We're going to go ahead and go full flaps here. Slow it on down. About 75 knots or so. It says we're a little bit low on our glide slope. There we go. Back to 1 red, 1 white. Flying over some buildings here on the approach. I think that's the direction the restricted area was, and it definitely looks like there's a big built-up area there, so that's probably what Los Alamos is really well known for over there. Start pulling this power out just a little bit. We'll go ahead and go for our flare. Getting pretty stuttery there on short final. Still managed to get down okay. Just trying to keep it center line. We got the nose wheel down nice and light. We'll just roll out here. Nice and light on the brakes. We're turning here towards the end anyways, so just kind of keep the speed up so we can roll out. And we'll go ahead and get our flaps up. So it's a little bit easier to handle this thing around on the ground. Make the exit to the right. Pretty cool airport. Stutters always kind of ruin things whenever they really hit hard like that, but I'm glad it worked out with the rain. We were ready either way with our approach if we needed to be. But we got our passengers to the destination pretty fine. Nice smooth flight. We'll go ahead and switch some of this stuff off here. The transponder onto standby, and we'll just pull ahead to taxi park, complete our flight. As always, I do enjoy having you guys along. Some of the flights are a little bit more stuttery than others, but I'm still working on trying to get it. It seems pretty random at the moment now. Some I don't have issues, and others I do. But either way, I enjoy having you guys along and being able to share these flights with you guys. As always, I hope you did enjoy. If you did, giving the video a like really does help me out a ton, and I appreciate it. We're going to park up here, and we will complete our flight. So let's get the client open once again, and we'll just come down here, hit the parking brake, and there it goes. Flight is now logged, and our passengers have reached their destination, and we've gotten paid. So it's always nice. Like I said, awesome having you guys along. And until next time, bye-bye.